For years, the F-22 Raptor was untouchable, the first true fifth-generation fighter, a machine no rival could match. But in a Pentagon conference room, planners are debating a shocking question. Should America retire its most feared fighter while it's still in its prime, or transform it into something no one has seen before? The answer will shape the next decade of air combat. Welcome to Jet Axis, where we break down U.S. air power, defense technology, and the missions shaping the skies. Every video, we bring you clear, in-depth looks at the aircraft and programs most people only hear rumors about. The F-22 was born in the late Cold War as the advanced tactical fighter, designed to defeat Soviet jets that never materialized. By the time it entered service in 2005, the Soviet Union was gone. Budgets shrank. Production stopped at just 187 aircraft, far fewer than the 750 originally planned. Yet the Raptor still became the gold standard: stealthy, super maneuverable, able to kill beyond visual range. Many assumed it would fly for half a century like the F-15. But the Air Force has other plans. If you thought the Raptor was safe, you're about to see why that's wrong. In the 2020s, the skies are crowded with new threats. China fields the J-20 Mighty Dragon, a stealth fighter built in large numbers. Russia continues to develop the Su-57 Felon. Meanwhile, the Pentagon pours billions into the next-generation air dominance NGAD program, a family of crewed and uncrewed systems meant to leapfrog the F-22. But NGAD won't arrive in numbers until the mid-2030s. That leaves a gap. Keep upgrading the F-22 or risk losing air superiority. And there's another twist, one the public rarely hears about, that could change the math entirely. We'll come back to it. In 2021, Air Force Chief of Staff Gen. Charles Brown said bluntly, "The F-22 is not part of our long-term plan. By the time NGAD arrives, we will have divested it." Budget documents show the Air Force is already retiring the oldest Block 20 Raptors used for training. Yet at the same time, Congress keeps funding upgrades, new sensors, new electronic warfare suites, improved stealth coatings. Aviation Week reports a program called Project Hydra to link the F-22 with drones and F-35s via secure data links. The message is mixed. Divest on paper, invest in practice. What would a reinvented F-22 look like? First, avionics. The Raptor's original mission computer dates to the 1990s. A new open system architecture could let it plug into NGAD networks and control loyal wingman drones. Second, weapons. The Air Force is testing longer-range air-to-air missiles like the AIM-260 JATM, built specifically for high-threat fights. Third, stealth refresh. Maintenance crews already apply advanced coatings that reduce radar signature beyond the original spec. Picture an F-22 launching a swarm of autonomous drones, each carrying sensors or weapons, striking deep into denied airspace, a halfway house between today's fighter and NGAD's future system of systems. These upgrades cost billions, but could keep the Raptor lethal until at least 2035. The F-22's supply chain is fragile. Production ended in 2012. Many subcontractors shut down their lines. Restarting full production would cost an estimated $50 billion, not including inflation. By contrast, upgrading existing jets is relatively cheap. The Air Force requested about $1.6 billion for F-22 modernization in FY 2024 alone. Yet every dollar spent on the Raptor is a dollar not spent accelerating NGAD. For defense contractors, it's a balancing act. Lockheed Martin builds both the F-22 and parts of NGAD, but suppliers must choose where to invest. That's why this decision isn't just tactical, it's industrial. If the U.S. keeps the F-22 through the 2030s with major upgrades, it gains a robust bridge to NGAD and a deterrent against China's J-20 fleet. But the airframes will be nearly 30 years old. Even with new electronics, fatigue and maintenance costs rise. If the U.S. retires the F-22 early and pours everything into NGAD, it risks a capability gap if NGAD slips, a common fate for ambitious programs. And here's that twist. Some analysts believe NGAD may debut as a small fleet of very expensive, exquisite aircraft, relying on cheaper drones to fill numbers. In that scenario, a modernized F-22 force could be indispensable. In other words, the Raptor's fate may hinge less on performance than on economics and timing. For pilots, the F-22 isn't just a jet. It's a badge of belonging to an elite community. Many have flown nothing else. They know its quirks, its power, its stealthy confidence. Retiring it feels like handing over the keys to a legacy built on decades of dominance. But those same pilots also want the best tool for the next fight. They've watched adversaries catch up. They don't want to go into combat with yesterday's edge. This is more than a procurement debate. It's a test of whether the Air Force can transition to a new era without losing the culture of air superiority that the Raptor embodies. What if the F-22's final decade isn't about retirement or reinvention at all, but about transformation into something between a fighter and a command node? Think of it as the quarterback in a swarm of autonomous receivers, calling plays in real time. That vision is already in classified test flights. And beyond 2035, a new question emerges. When NGAD's successors arrive, will any manned fighter survive on the front line? Or will the F-22 mark not just the end of its own line, but the end of the manned air superiority fighter era? If you've stayed with me this far, you're clearly interested in how America's air power is evolving. We've already done a deep dive on the B-21 Raider, the stealth bomber changing the rules of nuclear deterrence. If you haven't seen it yet, watch that next. It gives this F-22 story a whole new layer. And if you like learning how these secret programs fit together, subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss the next time we uncover something new. Finally, tell us in the comments. Should the U.S. keep upgrading the F-22 into the 2030s or retire it and bet everything on NGAD?